today's episode of The Hobbyist Novice, we welcome in Disney Lorcana illustrator Kendell to talk some shop with us, his process in creating some of these great cards for Lorcana, and also learn a little bit more about his career outside of Lorcana. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to myself and Cam. Welcome back to The Hobbyist Novice. Have a very special guest with us today. Kendell's with us today. Cam, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody, talk about maybe your career a little bit, things you worked on other than Lorcana.
Sure, yeah. My name is Kendell. I am a full-time freelance illustrator. My specialties are kind of board games / card games and a bit of books, publishing, comics work. I don't know, you want to know details or do you want to just...
Yeah, go ahead. Whatever you want to let everyone know about.
Oh, I don't know. I offered that up and now I don't have anything to say. I've been doing this for about 10 years now, I think. Yeah, 10 years. I originally thought I was going to do audio engineering as a career, like live sound for concerts or events, things like that. And that didn't kind of go the way I wanted to, so I pivoted into illustration and art. Some of my notable projects that I've enjoyed are a book series called Fart Quest, written by Aaron Reynolds. It's kind of a D&D inspired middle grade series. Had a lot of fun with that project. I still look back at that one and kind of think, yeah, I really like that. I'm happy with what I did on that. And a number of board games like Dungeons, Dice, and Danger by Richard Garfield. That one's actually also published by Ravensburger, who does Lorcana, which I'm an artist for. Obviously. I would think that's obvious. I don't know. Other games. 5 Minute Mystery, My First Castle Panic, Dungeon Mayhem. That's a D&D card game. Cool. I did one of the sets for that game. Those are kind of the highlights. And Rocket and Groot kids comic graphic novel that's coming out. Actually, that just came out.
Yeah, I actually just saw that. My little guy is very excited to read that one. So yeah, really take a look at that too. Very cool. So what brought you to Lorcana? How did you get involved with Ravensburger with Lorcana?
Through an email. I just reached out. They were interested. At first, they were interested in having me do character concepts, not actual card art. So this was in the very beginning of the process, before any illustrations were created. They were just doing some rounds of concepts for, what could these different characters look like in different inks and, different takes on characters. At that point, I was really busy with Rocket and Groot, so I said no. I didn't have enough time for it. But luckily, they came back when they were ready to do the final card art, emailed me about that, and I jumped on to do some of that. So
that's awesome. Yeah, and you got to put your own twist on multiple characters that are just huge through many people's lives. So what was that like? Just kind of put like your own twist on some of these iconic characters that you did.
That's fun. So in the 2 sets have come out, and in those 2 sets I've done 6 cards. 3 of those 6 are kind of just the standard take. I guess in the game terms, they're just storyborn characters. So there's Dr. Facilier, Captain Hook, and Maleficent's goons, and those 3 are basically on model, just as they appear in the films. But I guess I did get to kind of do my style, my artistic style on them. But the other 3, Mickey Mouse, Donald, and Jafar, I got to do a different, a slightly different version of those characters. And that was really fun. I think those were actually the goons were my favorite card to work on, but it was really fun to do those different takes and see these characters in a unique way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. The Goons is one of my wife's favorite cards in the whole
set. Aw.
Loves playing that one. The Enchanted Mickey was actually my chase card, one of my top cards that I wanted set. I love that card.
Oh, thank you.
So that's actually a question about that too. So like when you're doing an enchanted card versus a regular card, do you know it's an enchanted card beforehand? You got to do anything different for it, or
I
is
did know it was an enchanted card, but I had no idea what that meant because that was for the first set. So it wasn't until the release of the game that I actually understood what these different things meant. Um, I mean, I don't think it was Ravensburger's problem. It was mine that I wasn't clear on what they exactly were looking for when they said that this is an enchanted card. I knew that my card was somewhat related to the other Sorcerer Mickey done by Nicholas Cole. So he did the legendary version of that card. Right? I think it's legendary.
I think I know what you're talking about. Super, it was a super rare of it, but
It's
yeah.
a super rare. Okay. So he did that version, and then I knew that I was using that basic design of the character already, um, and, and that this would be a full art. So the art's going to go all the way out to the edge.
Right.
But I didn't really grasp the idea that this was just like this was that card, but in a special version. I just thought I was doing. I don't know. I wasn't clear on that, but when they finally came out and they announced, they kind of like held back the enchanted cards. They didn't reveal those right away, and then they announced those. And I think it was at Gen Con that they did that. And they had these like jumbo-sized version of each enchanted card to like take a picture with for whoever found the card first. Then it was like starting to dawn on me, like, oh, okay, I get it.
No, that's awesome.
But until then, I didn't really grasp.
Oh, very cool. So, I mean, like, what's your process like when you're going into doing these iconic characters, putting your own spin on them? Is it watching past films? Is it going through past illustrations from other artists? What's your process like when tackling these?
So like when I'm doing a character that's different, like a not storyborn, is that what you mean, or just any?
Whether it be different or even
any-
just like your own version of the character that we've seen before.
Hmm. I don't know. I mean, I definitely look at reference. I'll go and look at how other artists have approached this character. Um, I'll also look at just completely unrelated character art, just for kind of looking for shapes or colors or textures or things that kind of speak to me in other people's art. I mean, with Lorcana, Ravensburger does have kind of a style they're kind of aiming for. There's obviously some variation in it because we're all different artists, but there's kind of a general idea of what they want to achieve stylistically. So I have to keep that in mind, but I'm still looking at other art and just getting, I don't know, I'm just kind of getting vibes of things I enjoy. And yeah.
Is there a
And then I just jump in.
That makes sense. I mean, he did a great job on these 6 cards. Overall, just the art's fantastic. Not just in Lorcana, like even looking at like your other stuff too. Your stuff's really cool. Everyone check that Cam's Instagram page too. You'll just see some awesome illustrations.
Well, thank you.
Put in the link here too, just for that. If everyone wants to check that out, follow you for sure. Is there a certain character you're hoping to get to illustrate in the future?
Oh yeah, I know that answer. Cracker Jack. Do you know Cracker Jack?
Well, actually, wait, hold on. I think I do.
Have you watched Darkwing Duck?
Yes, Darkwing Duck is actually the one character I want in the set more than anybody.
Yeah. So Cracker Jack is like his. It's not his nemesis, because I would say his nemesis is Negaduck, right? The like black and yellow version of Darkwing Duck. But Cracker Jack is like this kooky, zany jester with like a toy banana character.
Okay, I know exactly.
Who like talks to him or he talks to him. I love that guy. I absolutely love that character. I love his design. I love his personality. So if I get to do that, I can just, move somewhere and be a hermit and just be happy.
That would be awesome. Darkwing is the one character I'm like dying and hope to get in the set. I know they just announced last week you're going to see some Tailspin in there too. So we're moving towards that way. So I'm kind of hoping we'll see that in there. I mean, Darkwing would be amazing in that set. So there's so many possibilities with him.
So are you a child of the 90s
Yeah.
animations?
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah.
Did you have a
Yeah.
favorite Disney movie character going into this?
Um, I think my favorite uh I'd have to say Robin Hood and Sword in the Stone stand out as like my favorite Disney movies. Um, and I have mixed emotions. I'd love to work on some of those characters, but I also don't want to. Like I want to keep them special. I don't know.
Yeah, we see
I've
some great
loved
art
what
in
other
this
artists
too.
have done
Yeah.
with those characters. So,
Yeah, we got some awesome Arthur cards in the most recent set too. They're really cool to see. I mean, kind of segueing
yeah.
into that, actually, are there any certain cards that you've seen for yourself from your peers that you just loved?
Um, well, talking about Robin Hood, that Robin Hood card by John Lauren in the first
Mhm.
set is
It's awesome.
just it's gorgeous. Um, I'd say in this second set, I love all of the Madame Mim and Merlin cards. I think that Enchanted Madame Mim by Nicholas Cole is
Very cool.
outstanding. But I also love I love like the Merlin crab. I don't
Hmm.
know. That one really speaks to me. That tickles me.
I love that one. I love the Merlin goat too. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorites from the set. Have you had a chance to play the game yet? Did you get into it all or collect it?
Yeah. Yeah. In October, I went to a convention, first convention related to Lorcana, and I got a chance there to be taught the game by some players there. Won my first game. My first hand, I played Steel and Sapphire. It was one of the starter decks. I think it's
Okay.
Steel and Sapphire. Isn't that a starter? Um, and my opening hand had goons in it. And I was like, oh, that's the first card I have to play. So I inked a different one and then I played it. That felt really good. And I ended up winning. It was a good game. And I've played it with my kids. Got some decks myself. So it's a
That's
good game. I enjoy it.
Yeah, we love it. We play it as a family here all the time now. I'm honestly almost like every night. My wife and I play at least one match, which is pretty cool. She hated stuff like this before
Yeah.
this, but huge Disney people, so that really made that connection. I think not just with us, but so many people who wouldn't
Yeah.
typically do stuff like this are really getting into it. And it's really cool to see.
Yeah, I'm really big into games. My wife is sort of into games. Never really card games though, like this,
Yeah.
especially not a trading card game. That's never interested her. But when she saw Aurora cards, she was like, "Oh, I like those." Do you have like favorite inks?
So right now I'm using Amethyst and Amber for my deck. So with like Floodborn and the first chapter, I'm trying to like flood the board pretty much with all these like 1 drop and 2 drop characters.
Uh,
I was using like
huh?
Lilo a lot, and now Pinocchio came out, which is a 2 drop, which it's like a quick lore game. And then my wife played like an evasive green red deck. So it's good
Oh wow.
matches overall. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. What decks are you currently building or playing with?
Oh, what was I just looking at? I think I was playing around with an Emerald Sapphire. Like I'm just about what cards do I enjoy the most,
Yeah.
really. So I'll look at which inks have some of my favorite cards, whether it's characters or art, and then try and build something around that. But yeah, I play around a lot, so I don't know. There's too many good cards that I enjoy, I think.
Yeah, there's so many good cards, so many amazing illustrations throughout the entire series
Yeah.
where you do just want to play a certain card just because they look so cool and you want to see them on your board more than anything at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
It's really cool. So what was that convention experience like? I know you're saying that was your first Lorcana convention. I know a lot of us saw that craziness at Gen Con. And so what was it like for you to get to experience that?
That was great. It was really great. I've done conventions in the past that were like comic conventions where I've sold prints or self-published books, things like that. And this was a very different experience because I went out there with, I don't remember how many other, 11, 9. I don't remember what the total number was. Other Lorcana artists. So now we had this little group. It couldn't have been 11. I'm overshooting it. Hold on. Now I have to count. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it was like 12 of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, 11 other artists. And getting to meet these other Lorcana artists and be there at the convention with them and being able to talk with them about their experiences illustrating cards and signing each other's cards and stuff. That was unique and really fun. But also just being able to interact with people who had come in specifically because they liked Lorcana. There was a tournament running. So this was Miami TCG.
Okay.
So people were flying in from California and Texas and Ohio, which may or may not exist, I hear. And that was surprising to me. Like other comic conventions I've been to, it was mostly people somewhat from the area, right? Not people traveling too far, but I think this was the first convention to do a tournament.
Yeah.
Host a tournament.
Definitely was the first largest tournament, I think it was.
That could be. Yeah.
Yeah, it was big.
And so that was really fun just to see these people who were coming in really excited about the game and getting cards signed and just interacting with them. That was really, I don't know, it's cool. It's a good energy. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like we haven't seen that with other games. I mean, there are a lot of people who play these other games, but nothing like this, where it's just like this camaraderie, this crazy cool community who's just all about the movies, all about the cards.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we even go to like a weekly league now as much as we can, and it's just such a different feel from like playing. Like I used to play Pokemon with my son a lot, and and just like different group. It's just cool. It's just a completely different experience that we've had.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about that, like comparing it. You can't help but compare it to Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, and I just can't help but think about how different of a start this must be from those. I wasn't there at the beginning of Pokemon or the beginning of Magic, but I can't imagine it was just suddenly everybody knew it, when it started. Surely they both started out kind of quiet, and then as people played it, said, hey, have you played this game? And then it slowly grew and grew and then kind of became what they are now. But this is like people see it and they already know these other games, so they know what this could be.
Yeah,
it's like they have this hindsight that they're bringing to it, and it's already an IP that people know. It's unique, I'd say.
and it's so cool too because you're not just bringing like the older IPs. You're doing like such a good mix of like the old, the new, the nostalgic, the ones you wouldn't even see, like Great Mouse Detective, which I love.
Yeah,
it's crazy to me.
Yeah,
it's just awesome that you're just bringing so many different age groups together with characters they know into this one game. I feel like that's connected with so many people just because of that.
I was about to say something. I don't know that I can actually say it, so never mind.
Keep that up.
But it is really cool. I agree. I also love that they didn't go what I would deem the corporate route of being like, okay, let's grab a bunch of screenshots, let's take existing art and make a card game out of it. They could have done that.
Yeah.
And I think that would have felt like a money grab, like they're just like, people will buy this. They love Disney. But they didn't go that route. They decided instead, let's create something that looks really good. Let's create something brand new using this IP. I love that they did that. Really cool.
It's awesome. Unlike you're saying, it's kind of more like on those lines of like Pokemon. Like you see many different artists they bring in for their different types of variations of all these characters. And I love that they brought that over to Disney, something we've never seen before.
Yeah. Yeah. Side note, I would love to work on Pokemon.
Put it out there. Never know. Another awesome set. But your work has been amazing for Lorcana. I really appreciate you coming on, give us a few minutes of your time. Anything you want to promote, anything else? I know you said Rock and Groot's just coming out, but any of your social channels or any conventions you might be going to?
Yeah, sure. So Rock and Groot just came out. The next convention I have lined up will be in February in Houston. I think it's the 10th and the 11th. Houston TCG. So I'll be there signing cards, meeting people, doing sketches and commissions and stuff. I actually really want to plug the Fart Quest series though.
Go for it.
Like,
Yeah.
I didn't write it. Aaron Reynolds wrote it. So it's not really my baby, but every time I go back and read it, I think, man, I'm happy with how this turned out. And it was launched at this period when the pandemic was starting.
Mhm.
And so it kind of suffered from that happening.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people don't know about it, and they're also like hesitant of the name. I think a lot of parents like Fart Quest. No, I don't think I want you to read that. But it's like I'd say it's a misnomer. There's definitely some potty humor in the book, but it's really like this kid's adventure. I don't know. I just had so much fun with it. So go check out Fart Quest.
Okay. Yeah, we'll link to that too. I'll put some links in the description also. Fart Quest.
But yeah, camkendall.com. It's Kendell. And then that has links to my social media. I'm at Cam Kendall in all the regular places. So
That's awesome. Thanks, man, for coming on today. Really appreciate you coming on. Appreciate the work. Hopefully we'll see some future cards in the future from you and other sets. But thanks again, man. I really appreciate having you on today.
yeah, thank you. Really appreciate being here.
All right. Thanks, man.